In today's episode of the English Right Now podcast, we're exploring Guy Fawkes and Bonfire Night. What are the traditions? Where do they come from? And how modern Britain remembers something we call the gunpowder plot. And we'll also learn at least 10 pieces of vocabulary related to this subject. I say at least because it's a real English learning podcast with my dear friend Rob, and anything can happen. Hello, Rob. He's not even speaking. He's holding his. That's gonna trip the people on Spotify, isn't it?
Hello. I am going to say, remember the 5th of November.
We have got a lot to talk about in this one. Remember the 5th of November. So there's a lot to talk about because we're going to talk about the modern thing that we often refer to as Guy Fawkes Night, or it's got other names as well. We'll get into. But it's done to commemorate basically a failed assassination attempt. So we are celebrating to this day a failed assassination attempt that took place on the 5th of... Well, the failed attempt took place on the 5th of November in 1605. So it was a long time ago. So what can you tell us about what happened on the 5th of November, 1605?
Well, there was this guy called Guy Fawkes. Oh, actually, also known as Guido Fawkes, I understand as well.
Yes.
Yeah, because of his kind of Spanish connections, I think. He was born in Britain. He was born in York, wasn't he?
Yes. He was born in York, but I believe he converted to Catholicism. So we do need to talk a lot about religion in this one.
Yeah.
So Catholicism was the religion of England for quite a period of time, but that ended with Henry VIII, who sort of basically made himself the head of the church rather than the Pope. And that caused a lot of kind of religious division between what are called Protestants and Catholics in the UK. What is now known as the UK. And it all has a lot to do with religion. So you're right. Guy Fawkes converted to Catholicism, and then he went to Europe, and he fought for Spain, where he was known as Guido Fawkes. And that was against Protestant Dutch reformers, apparently.
But later on, so after that, he was a Catholic and his friends were Catholic, and they decided to kind of, how would you describe it? Get the revenge or
assassinate the king. I think it was basically to assassinate the king. So, I mean, motivation, who knows? Obviously, he wanted to get rid of the king. He planned to kill King James and members of Parliament, I think with the aim of restoring a Catholic monarch. So, interestingly, King James's mother was Catholic. He was born technically Catholic, but he was raised Protestant, and he became the king of England. He was King James I of England and Ireland, but King James VI of Scotland.
Yes.
So he was a Scottish king who basically self-styled himself as the king of Britain and Great Britain and Ireland, or Britain and Ireland. So they planned to kill him. It was, well, you can tell us what happened. Well, what did they try to do?
Their plan to kill him was to basically blow him up and various other members of Parliament here in London at the Houses of Parliament. So lots of gunpowder, which is the explosive stuff you need to blow something up. And they made a plan, which we call a plot. You can also call a plot, is when you sort of do something bad, I guess, a bad plan to do something bad. It's a plot, to plot against the king. So we call this the gunpowder plot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
their idea was to blow things up.
Gunpowder is the explosive element used in explosives. And the plot is like a scheme or a plan, but it's often quite devious. There are other uses of that word plot, but in this, and we call it the gunpowder plot. And he put barrels, I believe, of gunpowder under the Houses of Parliament to blow it up and restore a Catholic monarch. It didn't go well, did it?
It didn't go well. They got caught. No. And
perhaps it did go well, because we how do we say it did go well because he didn't kill the king.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird perspective, but for him, it didn't go well.
No, it didn't go well for him. Yeah, interesting how it would have changed the course of history if it
Mm,
had gone ahead, and what would it be like now? Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. But
yeah.
yeah, it didn't go well because they got caught. There were no
Yes.
explosions, and they got caught. Him and his conspirators. So the other
Yeah.
people around him are also hatching this plan to blow up Parliament.
Yeah. It was a bunch of English Catholics who grouped together, and they were all conspirators. And a conspirator, one of our key pieces of vocabulary, is someone who takes part in a secret plan, especially to commit something wrong, a wrongdoing. And you're absolutely right. They were they were caught, and Guy Fawkes was well. It didn't end well for him, did it?
He didn't just go to prison, did he? He was
No,
he
no.
was hung, drawn, and quartered.
Actually, well, technically, he was hanged, drawn, and quartered, but a lot of
So,
people say hung, don't they?
Mm.
So this is something I hanged is where we put a rope around somebody's neck, and then hung is actually where you suspend something, usually something a dead or inanimate thing. So he was hanged to the point of where he nearly died, I believe. So this is what it means. Hang. So they put a rope around his neck, but they didn't kill him doing that. They then took him off, and then he was drawn, I believe, through the streets, if I understand correctly. And then he was quartered, which basically means cut into pieces. Not the probably way he wanted to go. So during that period of time, anybody who was seen as a kind of, committing treason. Treason is a key piece of vocabulary. It means the crime of betraying one's country, especially attempting to kill a sovereign or overthrow the government. But it could also be you could commit treason by revealing state secrets.
Yes, spying.
Didn't end well. I believe didn't his head get put on London Bridge or something?
Yeah, something horrible like that.
So after that, there was a period of kind of great, it was like a feeling of course, there was a lot of increased potential division between the Catholic and Protestant communities. I believe for a period of time it was technically illegal to be Catholic in in what we now know as the UK, and it caused a lot of religious tension again, and it sort of reaffirmed this belief that Protestant was the way to go. And I believe that the king he held like a thing of Thanksgiving. So interestingly, the Americans celebrate on a US holiday. They've got turkey and things like this, and it's the idea of giving thanks. But he declared a kind of period or a party of Thanksgiving, which is not related to the Americans. So I'm not going to get into the debate of who did it first, but here it was an official recognition ordered by Parliament to mark the king's survival. Interestingly, these days the monarch doesn't tend to sit in Parliament. But back then, I think there were. I mean, it might have been the opening of Parliament potentially, but something like this.
Yes. That's right. The royal family these days don't really get involved with the politics and the day-to-day running, do they? They're just separate. The king might be a figurehead, I suppose you could say. But
we have a constitutional monarchy, which effectively means that the king is not. I mean, we could go to Runnymede at this point and go and visit where King John signed the Magna Carta to say that no one, including the king, is above the law. But there's a lot we can discuss about that. I discovered Runnymede again the other day. I was like, oh, I haven't been here for years. Very exciting. But so we've talked about what happened in the past. What do we still celebrate this? You know we do. But what do we do?
Yes. Well, I mean, what are we talking about now? 400 years on, 500 years on since this happened, and yet we still celebrate that failure of Guy Fawkes by having Guy Fawkes Night, also called Bonfire Night, because we have bonfires, and a bonfire is a big collection of wood and anything that burns. Really, you put on a pile, then you light it, and you have a big fire. So we have big fires, and then what do we put on top of the fire?
So that bonfire, by the way, is one of our key pieces of vocabulary. It's often used in celebration or ritual, this huge fire. On top of it, oh gosh, we put an effigy of Guy Fawkes. an effigy. So effigy is a sort of crudely fashioned dummy or model of a person, often designed to be burned in protest or celebration. So basically, we make a kind of a model of Guy. It's interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because Guy can mean man informally, and Guy is his name as well. And then we put him on and burn him,
Yes.
and
And
people shout,
before he gets burnt, some children often make a guy and then they go around the streets, they knock on your door and they go,
"Yeah,
"We have a penny for the guy." That's the old fashioned
yes,
stuff anyway. Penny for the guy. I took it too literally once and I did give them a penny, which is worth nothing. I
yeah."
think it's a few pounds now,
I
but
bet they
yeah, penny for
hated you
the
for
guy.
that. I bet they absolutely hated you. That stingy man in number 28. I don't know. But yeah, penny for the guy. You don't see it as much anymore. I
Hmm.
don't think.
No.
Uh, Possibly because I mean it still happens, but the idea of burning an effigy, a representation of a person, is seen slightly barbaric, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it still happens. But I haven't had people come to my house and ask me for money.
Hmm.
But children, in the past, penny for the guy, and and then it was basically asking people for money to buy fireworks.
Yeah.
And fireworks, another key piece of vocabulary, explosive devices designed to produce a kind of visual or auditory effects for entertainment, often used for celebrations.
Yeah.
So they would buy those and then
Let them off.
and so on. Yeah, but
Let them
yeah,
off.
you're right. We put him on the fire. Sometimes
Yes.
he'd be at the top of the bonfire before they lit it. Other
Hmm.
times they would throw him on, shouting things like "Burn the guy!"
Yeah. Of course,
Barbaric.
and these days, there are a lot of effigies of modern day politicians as well that get burnt, aren't there? It's kind of moved on a
Yeah,
bit. People don't like a certain politician or leader, they'll make an effigy of them and burn
which I
them.
find I find distasteful, but also I find potentially quite dangerous. If I'm honest, if we start going down that level,
Mm.
it's yeah. So I try to shield my son for that, but. For Penny, I don't know. He's never asked me a question about why did we throw a doll on the fire. He's not asked me that yet, and I'm
Well,
not
you know,
looking forward
again,
to that.
I think we celebrate this. I say, or celebrate is maybe not the right word, but we remember this date and this occasion, and we all go and stand around the bonfire and let off fireworks. We need to talk more about fireworks, but I don't think people actually think about what the history was and
No,
how it could be anti this or anti that or pro this or pro that. We just go along and just go, oh, this is a good night out. We're having a good time.
and for most, I'll say most because you can't always talk about every
Mm,
single person, but for most people, it's just a bit of good fun with
mm,
fireworks and a fire. And sometimes I've been to ones where they don't actually burn a guy. I think they've moved away from that a bit.
yeah,
So they have a bonfire and there's marshmallows where you toast them, and they're fireworks. More
yeah,
more commonly now, the 5th of November, Bonfire Night, is about fireworks.
yes.
Realistically, which how do you feel about fireworks?
Personally, I love
Yeah,
them. the bigger,
I love them.
the bigger, the noisier, the better. But go on, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I loved them right up until I had a dog.
Hmm.
And then I realized how horrific it is for a dog. So these days I don't really go to these things because I'm there with my dog, and she gets really terrified, and she always wants to run outside because she thinks the noise is in the house. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit. So I love the visual aspect. I kind of wish they were noise free at
Okay.
times.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, I understand that for the majority of people, they love them. But yeah, I also feel sorry for the dogs and small children because children also get
yes.
a bit panicked. But that's where I am in my life at the moment. But it's
And of
important to
course,
mention. Oh,
I was going to say, of course, not great for the environment either, burning these things and sending all this
no.
smoke and stuff into the sky. So apologies for that, but I do like, I do. We have a big village bonfire night or big firework display in the village here. Hundreds
Yeah.
of people gather around, and it's just a very communal event, and it brightens up a miserable winter's night with lots of color and sounds and light, and that's fantastic.
It's interesting as well because it's quite close to Halloween, isn't it?
Mm,
Realistically. And suddenly you've got these two massive events, and quite commonly fireworks just dominate that period of time. I'm really lucky. I live in an area that don't really set off fireworks. Set off is the verb we use to set it off, or let off fireworks. But they do up the road. So if my dog is with my parents, I have to bring her home to mine, and then it's a lot it's a safer environment.
Yeah.
But it's there's a lot in a very short period of time with Halloween and Bonfire Night.
Yeah.
And it is important to mention that while originally it was about Protestant Catholic divisions, religious divisions is where two groups are very separated by over issues. It's not so much about that now for the vast majority of people. I always put that because there could be the one or two. But back in the 17th century, England were often in conflict, both at home and abroad, over religious and political control between two factions. These days in mainland, it's not as linked to Bonfire Night, if I'm totally honest. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? He's become a real kind of villain, hasn't he?
That's right.
A symbol of a villain. So villain was a key piece of vocabulary you chose. But overall, yeah, I mean, it does keep you warm on a cold sort of November night, standing by a bonfire with lots of other families, and kids often have those little small fireworks called sparklers, which they love. It's like a stick that kind of has little sparks at the end, and they kind of wave it around and write their names in the air. And I do love that, and the smell of the kind of marshmallows and the fireworks going off, the smoky burning smell. There's something very, very intense about it all, isn't there?
Absolutely. No, I love it. But it is funny, isn't it, that we're doing this, we're having fun because of some villain or anti-hero or bad guy who's trying to blow up the House of Parliament.
Yeah.
Now we're all out having a great time because of that.
Yeah. And you're right. It is interesting how these kind of things lose their original meaning somewhat. Because, yeah, I mean, Christmas is another one that for a lot of people is no longer a religious thing. Some people, yeah, of course. But this one in particular, it's just completely detached. Yet there is still very, clear links to the past, I suppose.
What's interesting down near me in Sussex, they have a big tradition in Sussex and all the villages. They have bonfire societies, and around sort of that time of year, November, October time, each village has a fire parade where they parade these effigies of people like Guy Fawkes. They burn torches and they walk through the village and they burn the guy. It's not exactly a bonfire night celebration. It's actually like a fire parade they have. And they have these bonfire societies and they still remember it. The biggest one is in Lewes every year. All these different groups parade through the town. In fact, you can't, it's so big and such a big thing, you can't actually go and see it now. But yeah, hundreds of people parading through the town with these effigies, sort of anti-Catholic message. Yeah.
So will you be attending a bonfire this year?
I think I will. We're going to have one in the village here. So I think I shall buy my ticket and get down there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, dog, child. But I just wanted to say, we've talked a lot, and there's a lot to talk about. But this is a really big event in the British calendar. Clearly popular down your way, more than mine. If you do want to buy us a cup of tea, there is a link down below. Rob's drinking there from his lovely mug.
Thank you. Lovely.
If you want to buy us a cup of tea, you can do. But from us today, I just want to say thank you very much for listening to us. Rob, thank you for joining me and talking about this amazing bit of history.
I was going to say an explosive topic.
Divisive for sure. So yeah, I mean, this is a thing. Thank you very much for speaking to me about this topic today, and I'll see you in the next podcast.
It's a pleasure. See you next time.